Do you, by any chance, have a child that is about to start going to school? What exactly is his attitude to school? Does the child just, willingly go to school, or he shows resistance? If he's showing you resistance, then that is one of the issue I want us to discuss, or I'm going to discuss in this video. I'm discussing from a personal experience. It's not just hearsay because I was involved. I remember I was about 5, 6 years old. That was in the 60s, and we were living somewhere in the north. I was to just start school. Honestly, it wasn't easy because my dad was working with Nigerian Railway Corporation then. And if you remember the Railway Corporation as it were then, it was one of the biggest organizations in the country, employing thousands of Nigerians. And the Railway Corporation then was a major distributor of goods around the country. What they do is they take your goods to a particular point and drop it there. Where they cannot go further, they will now use their logistic company, which was called the Nigerian Railway Motors. It was a logistic company then, and that was where my dad used to work. So he doesn't stay around because he goes, to many different places to deliver goods that were left behind by by the train. So my mom was, responsible for everyday care of the kids, and that was one of them. When I was to start school, the school was a very long distance from where we were living. But good enough, I had two senior siblings who were already attending that same school. So I did not have problem going to school. I mean, getting to school. The only problem was that I was very, very afraid to go to school. I don't know why, but I was afraid. They had to force me. I mean, literally force me to go to school. The problem was when I get there, for whatever reason, I would just find a way of coming back home. As a result of which my mom was very, very bitter with my attitude. My mom would beat me. He would do everything. He would flog me. He would, all those things mothers used to do back in the day if their children are proving very stubborn. If we are talking about stubbornness, I was. Because looking back now, I don't even know how I do it. But when they take me to school, I would leave school somehow and come back all alone. Ask me now how I was able to do it, and I won't be able to tell you. But it was really hell then. My mom was very bitter, you know. Why would, or so I thought, why would her own son refuse to go to school? Then I began to understand why she was this bitter because she would beat me, she would do everything, she would treat me as if I am not her own son. But looking back now, I discovered that she has very good reasons to do that. For instance, she was an illiterate, she didn't go to school, she was not given the opportunity to go to school. She was born back in the day when it was a taboo to send girls to school. So she didn't have that education. And I believe that at the back of her mind, she was saying something like, I did not go to school. Why would my son also not go to school? I just must ensure he goes to school. I believe that was what he was doing because he was really showing her bitterness. So as I was saying, I began to tell myself, she has every reason to do what she was doing because Here was a woman who did not go to school, who was not given the opportunity to go to school. She was doing everything to ensure that the son does not go through the kind of deprivation which she was going through. So she had no alternative than to do what she was doing, and she had to do it forcefully. She had no choice but to ensure that I really went to school. That was what I eventually thought she was doing. It was not that she hated me or that she was just doing it willingly. It was because she does not want me to go through the kind of hassles she went through. I said she was an illiterate. Does not mean that she was not smart. She did not go to school. She doesn't know how to read and write. But put her in the streets and you will discover a very wise and prudent individual, which she turned out to be. So she does not want me to go through that situation. Maybe that was why she was so bitter with my attitude. From the angle of a child, I mean, from the eyes of a child, my thinking was, why should school be compulsory? Why should they force anybody to go to school? I don't want to go to school. It is not compulsory that you must go to school. But that was, my thinking as a child. Why do they have to force me to go to school? It is not compulsory. Let me stay at home and play endlessly. Let me play with my friends. Let me eat the best food. Eat the best food the house can offer instead of going to school to go and stay in a prison-like environment where you don't have friends, you don't have, you know, anything to play with, you don't have anybody to take care of you. Because my mom was really taking care of me at home. So I was surely going to miss her if I go to school. That was obviously what was at the back of my mind at that point in time. But after giving me those beatings, I began to gradually accept school. Gradually, I began to, remain in school. I was no longer running away from school. I don't know whether it was as a result of the beating, because eventually my mom decided to add one or two, you know, goodies to my going to school. In other words, she would give me, some sweets, some chocolates, and a number of other items to go to school with. So when I get to school, I would, eat those things and feel more comfortable. So looking back now, I began to think that maybe it was not the beating that really, ensured that I remained in school. Maybe those things she used to give to me, maybe those sweets, those, items she was able to introduce into the inducement that made me begin to, you know, stay back at school. I, I have looked back now and I have continued to think what exactly was responsible for my change in mind. I don't really know what was responsible. Was it the beating? Maybe not. Was it the little, you know, sweets and the chocolates that were added to the whole thing that made me, decided to remain in school? Maybe not. I've tried to sample a number of opinions of parents, who we are into or who have seen, who have gone through this kind of episode, and they've given me their responses. A lot of them have told me their own story. They've given me what they went through. They've told me what they did. But when I looked at what they told me, I can just, summarize them into the the following points. So number one of the points, they gave me as solutions to the problem was that we should call the child, bring the child very close to you and talk to him. Although a small, very small child, but at the same time, children need talking to. By the time you talk to him, he will understand. You talk to him, let him know why he has to go to school. Let him know the importance of school. He probably is afraid that he will not, meet the kind of care that he normally gets from you at home. So let him know that the environment in school is even better than what you have at home. That they will care for him, that he will meet many friends there who will take care of him, who he will play with. Because at the back of his mind, he may think that he's going to miss all those play that he's playing at home. You know, children, they like to play a lot. If you give them that chance, they will play from morning till night and they will not even eat. So let him know that, look, oh, you are going to play. If it is play, you will play a lot at school. You will see your mates. They will play with you. You won't have a problem. And let him know that the environment is not a prison yard. It's not a place where there is such restriction. Restrictions in school are just for a few hours. You will go on break and you will enjoy yourself, just like you used to enjoy yourself at home. Make him feel at ease that he's not going into such restriction, that is going to have, a free time as much as possible. Also, you may have to discuss with the teachers. Let him know the fears of your child. Let him know how frightful the child is when you mention school, and let them assist as well. By the time you talk to the teachers on a one-to-one basis, they may be able to tell you their own experience too and what they think should be done. Another solution you may try is when it is morning and the child is preparing, or you are about to prepare the child for school, let him begin to, do one or two things himself. Let him be a little independent. Children are very happy when they do things for themselves, like putting on his shoes, brushing his mouth, and a few other things which they do before they go to school. Let him take a little responsibility. If he takes some responsibility for, all those things, he may start looking forward to doing that. You know, a lot number of reasons. You just look at it, ask one or two persons, they will also tell you their experience, and you can buy from that. And use it if you have a child who is into that kind of phobia. Another thing I've come to discover is that such fears or such phobia is normal with any small child. As time goes on, by the time you pamper him a little, let him understand what school is all about, they will begin to outgrow it. Like I said, I don't even know when I stopped it. It's something I grew out of. Eventually, I just discovered that, or I now discovered that eventually I did not know what happened. I just discovered that I stopped, running away from school, and the rest is history. So if you have a child who has such phobia, you may have to look at some of these points and see which of them or how many of them you can use to get this child out of the fright for school. So if you have done that before, or you were able to see somebody who has done something like that, let us know in this video. At least it will help one or two parents who are having such problems at home. Thank you so much for listening.